Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fumble Brothers podcast, the Fumblecast, if you will. It's a conversational podcast where we fumble through everything from movies, anime, video games, comic books, and if we're feeling especially argumentative, music. I am the Little Otter.
And I am Quirky Turtle.
Now, watch us fumble through this mess this week. How are you doing, my bro?
I'm doing fantastic, actually.
Good, good. So last week, some people might remember, those like the three people that probably watched this, we did the
three.
Soulsborne, and we kind of went down a rabbit hole of Bloodborne because I'm obsessed, because I like weird things with tentacles. So we are going to do a bit more Soulsborne lore this week, but also Quirky's brought in something that we're pretty excited about discussing, so we're going to save that for a little bit later, and then we're going to jump into that and just go to town on it.
Right.
All right, so is there anything about like Bloodborne that like you're curious about? Like you can say, well, like what is this? Because I might
See,
know.
I've always wanted to know, like, what initially went down. Like, how did all of this? I don't know. How were the hunters made? First and foremost.
I can
Let's
tell you
see.
that.
Where did all these monsters come from exactly? Like, what's up? What is going on? Like, even in the game, they don't really go into like the origin of all of this.
Ah, they do, but it's so hard to like follow, and it's given in such small pieces that you have to be look like almost not focusing on gameplay, like not like playing to win the game. You have to be like playing to figure out the story, which is why like lore channels and stuff are like super good on this. So if you want to know like what happened, the story of like what happened, like and what caused the hunters and the monsters are all like it's all one big story. All right, so you know the university, the institute, whatever it's called.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it's mentioned a couple of times in the game.
You have to go there. That's like it's where you go and fight the guy that's like in the dream state, and like there's like these slime monsters roaming around and stuff.
Oh, I might not have gotten that far.
Oh, you probably haven't actually. But yeah, like you go there. Like what happened was the people there, they were like obviously scientists. They went on an expedition into the caves beneath Yarnum. I think that's what it's called. I want to look that up so I get it right, and I'm not like saying the
Oh, that
wrong
sounds
word.
right.
Yarnum. All right,
See,
it is Yarnum, guys. It is. I just looked it up. You're welcome for cutting that out. Um, so there's a massive series of caves beneath Yarnum, which is the country. So they went into these caves. I believe this is how it went down, if I'm remembering correctly, and they found the ruins of like an ancient city, and in those they found the blood of the great ones. Now, they took this back to their institute and they started doing some tests on it, and they realized that this was the blood of a great one. And they started, through their experiments, believing that they could ascend using the blood to where they could basically communicate with the great ones, and through the great ones become the next stage of human evolution. They could step up and ascend to the mortal world and become like the great ones, become great ones themselves. And their goal was
they want to
to
become gods.
essentially, but they also wanted to, if I'm remembering correctly, they wanted to make it to where all humans, like they could make it to where humans would transcend everything. I think. Don't quote me. I'm paraphrasing heavily. But one of them, I believe his name was Lawrence, one of the students that was close to the head of the institute. He got the greedies, and he took some of the blood and he left. He left the institute and he founded the healing churches. And for a while, everything was all right. They were able to do like these ritual transfusions of blood, and it could heal anything. The blood of the old ones could heal any affliction. It did not matter what it was, how severe. If you could get a transfusion, it would save you. You would be better than before. And so
Nice.
for a while, Yarnum flourished. It became this, I don't even know the word, but it was huge. Like everyone knew if you had a problem, if you were dying, you went to Yarnum to the blood churches because you would be healed. However, after a while, they started realizing that the blood was changing people. The blood of humans and the blood of the old one was not meant to mix, especially when the church went down into the caves of Yarnum and they found tainted blood. They didn't care, they didn't like check it, they just knew this was the blood of the old one, this is what they wanted. But that's when things really went bad and it started
So
transforming
they
people into
got greedy
creatures. Yes.
and they found this tainted stuff, didn't even care to check it. Like
Right.
complete fools. Okay, so basically human ignorance is what caused it all. Got you.
Like, and yes, it could be argued like the Institute, yes, they were doing the same thing with like testing, but they were testing. Like, they were not distributing it to a mass populace. So they knew, and like if you look in like the cutscene, it if you're playing the game, the guy that runs the Institute said, "Fear the old blood." They did not trust it. So if the guy had just followed that basic instruction, this would have been contained. But no, they distribute it throughout the entire populace. And slowly,
Of course.
people began transforming into beasts. To the point.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was about to be like, okay, so fast forward a little bit to the hunters, like, but I
Oh,
feel
I'm
like you're
just
about
about
to
to be.
get there.
Yes. So to combat the beast and try to keep it away from the public at first, because they're like, oh, we can control this. This is just like isolated cases. The church founded different schools of hunters. Different schools like use different weapons and they use slightly different tactics. And they use the
Yeah.
blood like a certain blend. Like you know how Gearman says, "Oh, half-blooded as all the best are."
Yeah.
So basically, used the fire to beat the fire. They made super soldiers to go out and hunt down the beasts,
That's
but
what's
they
up.
could not agree really on how to do so. So that's why you go through and you'll be like, it's this school set, it's this school set of hunters. There's so many of them.
Well, that would be annoying, but
And
okay.
one of them, it literally was basically they were witch hunters. If they felt like you may or may not have like the taint of the beasts, they had the right to kill you. They did not have to have proof. Like, oh, we feel like him. Schwang, he's dead. So these, like, the people of Yarnum were terrified of this school of hunter. Like, it got out of control. But then, so did the beasts. To the point where there's a section of the game called Old Yarnum,
Yeah,
where,
yeah, I remember that.
yeah, they had to leave, like, abandon that part of the city because everyone in it was turned to beasts. So they just said, okay, screw it. We're barring this off. They can have it. They gave Old Yarnum to the beasts and left.
But it's bread, like
Yeah, they didn't stop it. That it's just like we're going to take what we have left and move here and see if we can stop it using the hunters. And so that's basically where we come in. Like we came in, the theory is your character came in for the healing of Yarnum, even though like all this is happening. You got cured, but also conscripted to be a hunter. And so many like generations of hunter have come and gone. The churches have collapsed in a lot of areas and states. But that's the very generalized and very skimmed over version of like what happened, like where the beast came from and where the hunters came in.
got you. Okay. Now that makes a lot of sense actually. So your character would have just showed up when this whole like the whole breach happened.
Years after, actually, because like maybe there's a character in there in the city of Old Yarnum that was a
Yeah.
hunter, and he protects the beasts. And he actually like remember how he tells you to leave, like they've done no harm, just go and leave them in peace, like that guy.
Yeah, I know him. He shoots a
Yeah.
minigun at you for quite some time.
Yes, he was a hunter that like the hunters swept through and like burned the city to the ground, trying to stop the spread of the beast and get everyone into New Yarnum. He broke,
Yeah.
and he's like, "This is barbaric. We are no better than the beasts if we're going to be doing this." And so now he protects the beasts of Old Yarnum. So he's still alive. So it's been about, I believe the estimated time is like 15, 20 years between the fall of Old Yarnum, like when the churches, it was like pretty obvious that the churches were just, you get the idea.
Yeah. That is a very in-depth story right there.
And like there is an NPC, like when you click on her door, she only says, "Oh, we're so grateful for the church. Yes, we're blessed. We're blessed." And like you can tell she's like shaking and terrified.
Yeah.
That's because you stand against the church, you die. Like that's what that is showing. You stand against the Church of the Blood, you were killed as a potential beast. That's what that school was. That's where that school of hunter came in.
Man, that's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Messed up. It's messed up, man.
But there was also, because obviously the stronger the hunter, the
Yeah.
stronger the beast they would become. They knew that they were going to become beasts at some point. So there was also a class of hunter. You met one. She's old. She's her name. She's such a cool character.
And
She's the
the
hunter,
worst when you just can't
the crow.
remember.
I think she's called the crow. She's like, she's a woman. You meet her pretty early on in the game. I can't remember.
I do know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She is the last of her sect, essentially. The hunter who hunts hunters. Their only job was to hunt down the hunters that became beasts. So she's
Now, what
really
if a
cool.
hunter turns into a beast? Are they stronger than a normal beast?
Oh heck to the yes. They are the super beasts.
Nice.
So the stronger the hunter, the stronger the beast will be when they turn.
It's like a double-edged sword, man. You need a beast to kill these. You need a hunter to kill the beast, but eventually the hunter becomes the beast. So you have to hire a new, or get a new hunter to kill that beast.
Bingo.
A
Like
non-stop, vicious cycle of nonsense.
what's interesting is like there was a person, I can't remember who it was, but he was the cleric of like the church, and he was like
Yeah.
one of the people that started one of the original hunter like sects. What's the
Yeah.
first boss you fight?
God, it's been a minute. I cannot remember.
The cleric beast.
Cleric beast? That old man?
Let me see. Isn't it called the cleric beast? Bloodborne cleric beast, I think. Cleric or
It might
yes,
be.
cleric beast. It's the first boss. And ever wonder why it was called the cleric beast?
Well, I mean, of course, but
Because that's him.
I feel like I tried to like let the story tell me what's up, you know?
Oh, it never will. Unless you figure out that the cleric, the person that set up one of the most powerful branches of the hunters that set everything in motion, became the cleric beast.
Ain't that just ironic?
Isn't it?
Ain't that just ironic?
That's why a lot of them are like screaming so horrifically. Like that last little bit of "this is what I was fighting" is going mad. Like I have become what I set out to kill. That's why they, like the cleric beast, its whole bit is it screams quite horrifically and loudly, and oh my god, will it shut up please? Yeah, that's why. It's having a nervous breakdown because it's now this hideous monster. And that last little bit of human, that hunter, is like, well, fudge.
Well, fudge. That's funny. Well, fudge.
Like in the DLC, there's a boss you have to fight that like it has like this really gross like half horse half human head that after it like attacks you, like it transforms, it attacks you, and after you beat it you can interact with the head again, and it thanks you. If you've done it right, it will thank you for killing it, because the hunter within knows what it's become.
That's crazy. Would you do it, man? If there were beasts running around, would you become a hunter?
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Like, I'm not going to go into details, but like, my medical condition.
Yeah.
If I knew, this is where I can honestly understand why people went ahead with it, even when it started like being a problem. Because like, if I found out there was something that, even if it couldn't completely cure everything, could stop it in its tracks to where like I wouldn't have to take my shots anymore because I have to get a shot medication. I'm not explaining further than that. If I found out I could stop that and be okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be a lot more tempted to do it. Like, it'd be like, okay, yeah, and I get to help a bunch of people and gain like essentially like superpowers, and I get to hunt these things down, and I will never have to take another shot so long as I live as a bonus. Are you kidding me? Pour me a cup of blood, man. I'll chug that thing.
Let's go. Yeah, I would do it too, honestly. Like, I don't have anything that needs to be healed. I think I would just volunteer to be a hunter, honestly. As weird as that sounds, like, yeah, I feel like I would do it just to, I don't know, be an awesome hunter.
Yeah, you'd be one of the glory-seeking hunters. There was a whole like sect of them that were just like they were in it for the glory, for the power of being hunters. They were still helpful. They were still they still like slayed the beast, but it was for their to
Their own
be
hubris.
yes, essentially.
I don't know if I would be like that about it, but I would definitely be in it probably for money. I'd probably be like a beast bounty hunter.
Were there? I don't know if there were beast bounty hunters because like
There would be if I was in there. Let me tell you that.
I'm pretty sure the church would kill you.
Bring it, bro. I'm an awesome hunter now. I don't need you.
What's interesting is according to like the lore, like the
Yeah.
character you play is not a member of any of the churches. Like,
Well, I mean, if he's just some dude there to get healed, like you said earlier, then no, I don't think he would be.
but like most of the previous hunters, if I'm getting it right, before that, were blooded as members.
Horrible. I don't know.
So,
See, I couldn't be a member of the church. I couldn't.
well, no, like I think like what would probably happen is it's like once things got desperate, like they'd be like, okay, we're opening the doors, which is what happened. It'd be like, okay, yeah, I will jump in. Like everything's going to heck. Like I can't get other medicine now. So, okay,
So
yeah,
now
sign me
I
up.
have to do this so I don't die. Ugh, that's horrible.
So it's like, yeah, it's a very brutal and very dark storyline of corruption and greed and human ignorance and the superiority essentially of these god things that we don't understand. Like it's very easy to say, "Oh, they're evil, they're dark." Are they? Are they though? Because they didn't give us the blood. We took the blood and we used it, and now we're in contact with things we were never meant to have contact with. So,
Do you think
are they?
eventually, like, all this would have bled together anyway?
How do you mean?
Like, eventually we would figure out that there were things going on that, weren't quite normal, I guess.
Oh, definitely.
That
And
we would, like, slowly bleed over into that world.
some would. That's the whole Lovecraftian thing that I love. Like most people want to remain ignorant.
That's stupid.
They shun anything like, no, this is my world. I understand this. Go away if you disagree with that, you know? And so
Yo, come on, get out of here.
that's why a lot of the people like in the Lovecraft books that were enlightened and like knew stuff about this and were like, this is what's going on, you morons. Yeah, they got locked up.
You're a crazy person.
Because it does sound crazy. Oh, by the way, squid heads at the bottom of the ocean sleeping, and if these people chant enough, yeah, it's gonna wake up and eat us all. Like if I came to your door and was like, excuse me, Cthulhu, do you have a moment to hear about our Lord and Destructor Cthulhu and how we can stop him by keeping people from reading things out of a book? You would slam the door in my face so fast.
Definitely, which is why you don't go door to door. It's all about
Like I'm talking
emails.
about as your brother, you'd be like, screw off, bro, get help.
I might listen to you for at least 20 or so minutes. But the moment I felt like things were getting a little out of hand, I'd probably be like, okay, this is done now.
I mean,
Okay.
are you kidding me? As soon as you heard Yugs the Thoth, you'd be like, shut up.
I'd probably get you a tissue. You okay, bud? Do you have a cold? Is that
No,
what this
Yugs the
is? You're
Thoth.
delirious from fever?
No, you don't understand. It's like, I'm not
Kathoth.
sneezing.
Ah. It's like, shh. I got some NyQuil. Let's take a nap. Shh. It's okay.
Oh my god. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like people, even though like that's the whole bit of this Bloodborne world. Like they, even while this is happening, like people are going insane because they can't understand. Like they were never meant to understand that this is happening. So they are very much in denial of what's going on, even while it's happening.
I thought it's just people's go-to move regardless. Just what? Strange things? I don't see any strange things. What are you talking about? It's very interesting to hear about a game really play on that. Like our desire to just ignore the weird stuff.
Yeah, and there's so many NPCs that are still devoted. Like they still think that the Church of Blood is their savior.
Oh my gosh. Even after all of that, like they still have a following?
Yes. Yes. That's
Crazy.
how twisted. Like there's a follower you can send back to the church. Like if you can only rescue her if you're wearing the garb of the church when you speak to her for the first time. And she'll huddle in the corner of the church that's like it's like praying, and
Yeah.
she's praying to the church, and like if you go against, there's two people. She will give you blood which will heal you, and there's a different person that will give you blood that you can rescue. And it's
What do you need
theorized,
blood for?
like the blood
Like
vials,
healing
the healing,
vials?
yeah, the healing
Okay.
vials, they will give you the blood, and it's a good way to get
Okay.
it. But this other person, I think she's like a prostitute or something like that. She's a very busty lady. Let's just be blunt about it, okay? That's who this is. And it's heavily implied that she is a lady of the night, let's say. And at first you'd think that, okay, and this like the church lady is hates this person, like literally does not want you talking to her. That amount of hate.
Wow.
And it's like, oh,
Okay.
she's a prostitute, so that's why. However, some theorists say because the blood of this other lady, like the lady of the night lady, heals
Yeah.
you more, and she's like of a very old bloodline or something like that. There's clues, I don't remember, but there was another group of people that were tainted by the blood. I'm not sure. I don't remember very much about them, but they were like on an island, like farther away or something like that. I don't remember that much, but they were the enemy of the church. They were a different sect altogether. The Vile Bloods. That's what it was. The Vile Bloods.
That sounds cooler.
And the theory is like the church lady can see that this other person is a descendant of the Vile Bloods. And so if you accept blood from her too many times, the church lady will go crazy, kill the lady of the night, and then try to kill you because you are now. She'll say, "I'm sorry, you're tainted now. I have to do it." So she's that devoted, even after all that. She's that devoted to the church still.
That's a little insane.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't mean to put it so simply, but that's a little insane.
She's, oh my god, like there's so, can you see now why I just like, I've poured myself into the lore like a glass. It's like, it's so good. I just cannot get enough.
See, I don't know. I feel like all of the whole game could have been avoided if people would just And they just thought for a second, like, hey, I don't quite understand this. Let's not mess with it too much.
Or at least like do what the institute was saying. Like they're just as wrong. Let me clarify. But it's like at least they were doing testing. Yeah, they were corrupt, but they weren't putting it into general population for crying out loud as a healing drug.
Oh my gosh.
Like the people that like run around are like zombies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They are the townspeople that have been affected, like touched ever so slightly by the blood. They've been just a little bit. So in their heads, they still think they are out every night hunting down the beasts. That's what they think. They don't realize that they have started the process of turning into beasts themselves. It's like once you know that these are just people that think they're doing good and in their madness, you are the beast. It becomes kind of sad to kill them because they're just trying to protect their families.
That's super sad. Like, wow. Okay.
Like if you listen to what they scream at you, like "I will end you, vile beast," or "Go away," or like all the things they say, it's like they're talking to me like I'm a beast, and then it's like that's because they think I am.
Oh, those poor fellas.
Yes, like
Dude,
it's it's madness in its most beautiful form, and I love it and I hate it and it makes me sad, and it's a great game, and it's a game that like you could play without the lore, but why would you want to? I mean, everything means so much more.
yeah, when you know what's going on, yes, you're absolutely right.
And like that one, the like father what's his name that you have to hunt down and kill, where you first meet the hunter who hunts hunters. Oh, what's her name?
I'm trying to think.
It's Father something is the boss battle. Father
Is he like in
Gaston?
a graveyard? Like,
Yes,
is he
him.
digging? Yeah,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Yeah, she warns you away from him quite strongly, if you remember. Yeah, that's because she fought
Yes.
alongside him. She had great respect for him because he was a great hunter. They were friends, and it's
Poor
killing her inside that she has to now end this hunter because in her mind, it's like, okay, I'm going to myself give him an end, just give him peace to where he can move on, where he doesn't have to live his life as a beast after all he's sacrificed and all he's done.
But that's a common theme in the Dark Souls. Like Born, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Like, the stories are super sad. Like, not all of these people are intentionally just like evil. It's just what they became with the world around them.
Yep.
It's sad to think about.
And there's three endings to Bloodborne, and none of them are great. None of them are happy endings.
Of course not. Of
Like,
course
do
not.
you do you want to know what they are, or do you want to try to like figure it out for yourself?
Go ahead, tell me. How long has this been going on?
Holy fudge cakes. 34 minutes. We need to
Oh,
Oh my god, we need to wrap up. This is longer than the last one.
we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, like we need to we'll talk about the endings for like real quick and then we'll wrap this one up. So sorry, next time guys, we'll talk about that game. Like we'll talk about like what we weren't going to talk about. I told you I could go on a rant about this. Like this is so sorry you haven't heard much
It's
from Quirky.
okay. Hey, I'm here. I've been here.
Yeah.
It's just this is a topic that you understand very well. You are very good at diving into the lore, at researching all of that. What I
Well,
am good at is hopping into the game, doing that thing. That's where I shine.
so very quickly, the three endings of Bloodborne are either like Gehrman, you've beaten everything, and you talk to Gehrman, and he gives you the option to free you. That doesn't mean everything's over. So basically, he kills you, but that just ends your ability to go back to the hunter's dream. You stop like reincarnating at the hunter's dream. So the next time you die in the real world, it's for good. Like the hunter of hunters, she took that option. She was a hunter of the hunter's dream. She chose the option to be killed by Garmin and woke up back in this world. So there's still beasts, they're still out there, but your role as the main hunter fighting like the worst knight, like the hunter's knight, is done. That's one ending. The
Horrible ending.
Yeah,
Okay.
the second ending is you refuse to be freed and you fight Gehrman. You beat him.
Okay.
The Guardian of the Moon, which is a weird tentacle monster, comes down, who was a friend of Gehrman, and gives us an indication that some of them are benevolent and like want at least some good for people, because it's this like moon creature that set up the hunter's dream so the hunters could keep coming back and stand a chance against the beasts. So it
Huh.
comes down and it absorbs you and makes you the new master of the dream in place of Gehrman. So you will now send, you're now trapped in the hunter's dream as Gehrman was, and you will send out new hunters to battle the beasts.
Well, that sounds interesting.
That's the second ending. The third one, are you hold on to your pants because this is about to just go crazy on you. To get to this ending, you have to eat 3 umbilical cords.
Okay.
There's the first bit of really gross information for you. So, you fight Gehrman. You beat Gehrman. If you eat the 3 umbilical cords before you battle Gehrman, the moon creature will try to absorb you, but it will fail. You have to then beat the moon creature. Upon beating it, you become an infant old one. You
Huh.
ascend and become an old one or a great one.
But an
That is
infant.
ending number 3. And literally,
So
you are a little baby slug with tentacles. It is gross. Speechless, I see.
I'm just wrapping my brain around it
Oh, don't
because
try. You'll get a headache.
so who makes you an old one? If you beat the moon creature, who does it?
Basically, if no one, I think it's almost like you've earned the right. Like you've ascended to where you know so much about this. You have communed with these things. You've you've actually beaten a great one. So now you've almost like you've earned your place. You've ascended.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But it's like, is that a good thing? We don't know. Big question mark.
I really want to know how Gehrman met this old one
There's a bit of lore on it, but I can't remember it.
because, like, excuse me,
Yeah, that's like there's so many things that are just like, I beg your pardon.
right? It's just like, pardon moi, excuse me.
But that's Bloodborne for you. It's like, oh, you get to the end by eating 3 umbilical cords. Oh, you're let me just get insight by like chugging brain matter. I don't know. It's like, what the actual f is happening here?
Awesome stuff, man. It's awesome stuff that's happening,
Yeah,
and
it's
it is really cool.
yeah.
Like, they're all such cool, good games. I'm very happy to like have them. You know, I'm grateful for them because they're amazing.
Yeah, and I can't wait to play them. But guys, like, let me know definitely if you'd like to see me play some of these games, especially Bloodborne, because I will be on that like white on rice. But we've gone way over. This is a topic that I think you can guess we could go on for forever, or I could. He's just sitting there being a good sport.
Hey, I'm listening. You have knowledge that I do not have.
So, thank you to my brother Quirky again for putting up with this and being slightly interested. And thank you to you for listening. So, that's this one for this week, guys. And remember, it's okay to fumble so long as you always pick up that ball and never give up, guys. So, we will see you next episode.
Definitely. Don't forget to subscribe.